Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting to order with a statement of proper notice. Notice of this meeting has been posted on the municipal bulletin board and forwarded to the Hopewell Valley News, the Trentonian, and the Hopewell Express on January 6th, 2025, in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, PL 1975. Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski.
Here.
Committee Member Purandare.
Here.
Committee Member Ruger.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Chait.
Here.
And Mayor Peters Manning.
Here. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Tonight we are, actually before we get started, I wanted to just take a few moments to talk about the gigantic wildfire that we had in Hopewell Township this weekend and give a special thank you and gratitude for the heroics of our fire departments. We have the Hopewell Fire Department, Union Fire and Rescue Company, the Pennington Fire Department, our career staff at Station 50, Engine 50. We also had a ton of mutual aid partners from 6 counties that came to assist us, as well as the State Forest Service under the DEP. It was almost 300 acres burned. And it was really, I looked at some of the fire damage today, it was really remarkable that they were able to save every single structure that was threatened, because it was close in many situations. I should also mention, aside from the fire departments, we had our Hopewell Township Public Works Department. We're closing roads and putting up barriers. We had our police department. We're one of the first on the scenes, directing traffic, keeping everything in order. So it was a gigantic team effort, and I was worried all night, and it really was a amazing thing that nobody was hurt and no structures were burned. So I wanted to start out with that, if anyone else would like to.
So I'd like to thank folks who were on Hopewell Pennington Update on Facebook. What I saw was a lot of realistic, true reporting from people with videos. I didn't see a lot of alarmism. I saw when somebody misstated something, somebody corrected it. It was good to see that people were actually trying to do their best to share the information that they had. Also appreciate the fact that our emergency services posted stuff as quickly as they could.
Yes, go ahead, continue.
But I do think that, I've complained from time to time up here about what people say on social media. I think this was an example where people did the right thing and realized the gravity of what was going on. So the folks who did that deserve credit.
Thank you. All right, so I just wanted to start with that. Tonight we have 2 proclamations. We have, first is the proclamation declaring March 9th through 15th, 2025 as Groundwater Awareness Week, and we'll start with Mr. Ruger.
Whereas groundwater is a vital natural resource that is essential to the health and well-being of humanity and the environment, and
Whereas 500,000 new residential wells are constructed annually, and groundwater accounts for 33% of all water used by U.S. municipalities, and
Whereas 12 million New Jersey residents rely on 400,000 private wells for the drinking water, and
Whereas Hopewell Township has 2 zones with distinct hydrogeological characteristics beneath the township, and
Whereas 85% of Hopewell residents rely on groundwater for their drinking water source. Now, therefore, I, Courtney Peters Manning, Mayor of Hopewell Township, on behalf of the Hopewell Township Committee and residents of Hopewell Township, do hereby proclaim the week of March 9th through 15th, 2025 as National Groundwater Awareness Week in the Township of Hopewell. Thank you for that. And next, we have a resolution honoring women's contributions and celebrating March as Women's History Month. And Ms. Purandare.
okay, honoring the women's contribution, whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background have made historic contributions to the growth and strength of our township in countless recorded and unrecorded ways, and whereas women have played and continue to play critical economic, cultural, and social role in every sphere of the life of our community by constituting a significant portion of the labor force working inside and outside of the home, and
Whereas women have played a unique role throughout the history of our community by providing the majority of the volunteer labor force, and whereas women were particularly important in the establishment of early charitable, philanthropic, and cultural institutions in our community, and
Whereas women of every race, class, and ethnic background served as early leaders in the forefront of every major progressive social change movement, and whereas women from Hopewell Township have served our country courageously in the military, and
whereas women have been leaders not only in securing their own rights of suffrage and equal opportunity, but also in the abolitionist movement, the emancipation movement, the industrial labor movement, the civil rights movement, and other movements, especially the peace movement, which create a fairer and just society for all. And whereas despite these contributions, the role of women in history has been consistently overlooked and undervalued in the literature, teaching, and study of American history.
Now, therefore, I, Courtney Peters Manning, Mayor of Hopewell Township, on behalf of the Hopewell Township Committee and residents of Hopewell Township, do hereby proclaim the month of March 2025 as Women's History Month in the Township of Hopewell, and call upon all residents of Hopewell Township to observe March as Women's History Month with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities. Okay. Thank you.
Maybe send a copy to the White House. I'm sorry, did I say that?
I don't think we do not have any additional items for the meeting agenda, Ms.
No, we
Fenton?
don't, Mayor.
And so with that, we'll move to committee member and staff reports, beginning with Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and committee members. I have two things to report tonight. First, a couple meetings ago, I reported about a controlled burn that's going to be on the hillside property off of Hopewell-Wurtsville Road. So they have a date set for that now. It would be March 10th. And I do have a social media posting and a posting for our website drafted. I just wanted to bring it up to the committee meeting first, especially in light of what happened over the weekend.
Yeah, I know that the county postponed the one that was supposed to happen in Mercer Meadows. Do you think that that's potentially something we could postpone a little bit?
I could ask, so this is, DNR Greenway is doing this in conjunction with the National Forest Fire Service. And the reason they want to do it now is because to reduce the fuel load.
Yeah.
So that if there is a fire, it doesn't spread as far, there's nothing to burn.
Yeah.
If they burn it out.
I mean,
controlled
I
burn
defer
first.
to them to know when the right time to do that is, but the winds, I think, is the reason why the county, the fire
Postpone
risk
theirs.
is still high. I don't know, just it's worth asking the question. I assume that the fire service would know what the right answer is, but I think we should at least ask the question.
Okay.
I would also, I appreciate, as you noted, that you have a social post and a release there, but whatever channels we could use to disseminate that people understand, that this is a controlled, distinct, decided burn, just because understandably people might be a little on edge after this weekend.
Okay. Also, I'd like to report that plans are underway for the all-way stops. First of all, the county plans on having an all-way stop ready for March 24th at Pennington, Harvardton, and Bird Road. And Hopewell Township all-way stop at Pennington, Titusville Road, and Scotch Road is planned to go in effect on March 12th.
And thank you for the electronic signs.
Yes.
Advising people that the change is coming. I found those helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Good, okay, thank you.
All right, all set? Mr. Seeberger.
Good evening. Nothing new to report since last meeting.
All right, thank you. Mr. Goodell.
Nothing to report now. I'll have some matters to discuss in closed session.
Okay. Ms. Troutman.
That we are continuing to work on our 2025 budget and preparing our annual financial statement for submission.
Thank you. Ms. Fenton Newman.
Nothing, Mayor.
All right, so we'll move to the committee. Mr. Ruger.
Nothing.
Mr. Kaczynski.
Nothing.
Ms. Parandare. I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Okay, thank you. I just want to share that Environmental Commission, the Hopewell Township Environmental Commission, a couple of members are leading the efforts, and the Public Works, particularly Mr. Snyder, has helped the Environmental Commission members to have the tree giveaway event, which is being planned on April 6th from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. And this is going to be a first come, first served tree giveaway. So I would like to have a resident to take advantage and have the tree planting. It's totally free, and I would like to, this will be at the Public Works building, and the Public Works staff will be helping with it. And as I mentioned,
Thank you. Deputy Mayor.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, and I do have a couple things tonight. As I mentioned the fire at the beginning of the meeting, the latest update, we're relying on the New Jersey Forest Service for our updates. It was 90% contained as of the last update, and there will be hot spots, and fire crews are on scene to put out the hot spots, and it might take several days. So if you see smoke over the next several days, that is to be expected. I also, we have the Mayor's Awards. We have set the date. We began this in 2024. We're going to do it again in 2025. The Mayor's Awards for first responders, public works, police, fire. That will be on June 7th. The details will be forthcoming, but I just wanted to put the date out there so people can save the date. That's all I have for the evening. So with that, we'll go to our first public section. So if you would like to speak, come to the microphone, state your name, where you live, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less, please.
There we go. All right. Thank you very much. My name is Mike Pissarro. I'm the Policy Director for the Watershed Institute. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you very much for the proclamation on groundwater, one of those great resources. But I'm here tonight to talk to you and urge this committee to move forward with a proposal that's been bouncing around for about 8 or 9 months. As you may know, the township has to come up with a watershed improvement plan, a plan to reduce pollution and reduce flooding as part of their MS4 permit. Over the last several years, we've been meeting with the Stony Brook towns, Princeton, Lawrence, Pennington, and Hopewell, talking about regional flooding issues. There was a proposal made by One Water Consulting a little over a year ago to approach that MS4 requirement, that improvement plan, as a watershed. And the thought is, by doing it as a watershed, you are reducing some of the costs to do the study. You are providing opportunities for looking at regional solutions versus each town having to come up with their own. So that proposal's been out there. We are hoping to move that forward. Lawrenceville has signed on. Pennington hopefully is voting on it tonight, and Princeton may be voting on it tomorrow. This portion of the watershed improvement plan is due next year, at the end of next year. But the consultant, Jim Cosgrove from One Water, wants to do some water quality monitoring this summer and fall, winter, to understand where we really are from a water quality and flooding perspective, so he can develop the full plan. How do we address the pollution? What pollution is really important? Where are those opportunities, and where things have already happened? Because a lot of the data that we are using is very old from the department. So, with that being said, I know this has been talked a little bit about. The township has been very, very active in that regional group that had been meeting over the last several years since Hurricane Ida. And I would really think this would be a model for the rest of this state. It is an approach that the DEP supports and have promoted and encouraged towns to do. Otherwise, each town would have to come up with their own plan, and that plan could be inconsistent with its neighbors. So what Hopewell thinks and Pennington think or Princeton thinks are two very different or three different things. And then you have a plan that doesn't really accomplish the goal of improving water quality, but just as important, protecting our residents from flooding. So we are here to answer any questions, if there is a desire for individual meetings to talk about it, but we do hope we can move forward with this process. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Hi, everybody. Elaine Borges, Woosemonts Road. I first want to just take a second to thank all the people who spent their weekend keeping our houses safe. If you haven't seen volunteer fire companies work together, it's pretty incredible, and the Forestry Service was amazing. So thanks to everybody. We're all good. But I think there was an area that I would like you all to look into when it comes time to debrief on this, and that would be communication. I think you've almost all seen the video in front of my house from 2:30 in the morning. I've spoken to my neighbors since then. None of us were notified that there was going to be a backburn lit right in front of our houses. Our windows were open because there was no smoke prior to going to bed. I have asthma. This was not a fun experience. If I'd had children, I would have been terrified to have them see that. It was pretty scary. If I was an older person, I don't know what I would have done. My neighbor across the street who lives in the woods had her house surrounded by flames. She was not notified. There was a fire truck in her driveway. There was a fire truck everywhere. The safety precautions were there. The skills and the right way of doing things were all there. But the notification would have been nice. I have a soft top car. It was parked in my driveway. It's covered in ash. I hope there's no holes in it. My husband's truck, if you see the video, is right down there by the road. I mean, again, it was covered in ash. We would have just put him in the backyard, you know. We were lucky. We figured out what was going on. We watched it, and it was rather impressive to see what was happening. But I think there were other people who would have had a different approach to it. I know there was another neighbor who was woken up by people walking around on their deck, and when they went outside, they were asking why they were here. I mean, they knew about the fire, and when they went out there, they said, well, we're trying to keep your house from catching on fire. They had no idea there was going to be a burn in their backyard. So I don't know if the police could have helped with that. Definitely not the firefighters. They had their hands full. They were very, very busy. But just some way to give the rest of us some sense of, I mean, a decision, right? Like if I had had children, I think I would have left. I wouldn't have wanted them to see that, or moved my cars. So they weren't sitting right up against it. So just something to think about when you guys start to debrief about all this and ways to make it better for the next time. Hopefully there is never a next time, but if there is, thank you.
Thank you. I'm glad that you and your house are safe. Me too. I'm glad that you and your house are safe. With the microphone. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Anyone on Zoom, Ms. Fenton Newman? If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand.
Erin Groger, would you please unmute?
Hi, Erin Grover, 26 Dublin Road in Pennington. So I was I attended on Zoom to one of the township meetings about a month ago, and I was just coming back to see if there was any update regarding the pilot program and the court, the lawsuit that was happening, because I'm extremely concerned with the school district and the money that they need to build the additional bear tavern. So I was looking for an update on the pilot program. My second question is, I was at the most recent school board meeting and I asked about this, and the school board was extremely optimistic regarding money from the township to help with the additional bear tavern. So I was just wondering if you could give me an update on what that exactly looks like. They said even if the pilot money was not available, the town was looking at ways to help fund that addition, which would be wonderful. But I'm just wondering if you could give us an update as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on Zoom?
No, Mayor.
I'm seeing no one else in the room. So with that, I will close the public comment section, and I will, I'll start and go backwards. So, Mr. Goodell, do you have an update? From our perspective, we are moving forward with contributing to the addition of Bear Tavern. Our attorneys, I believe, have found a mechanism by which we could do this, and negotiations or discussions are continuing to move forward with the attorneys for the boroughs. Mr. Goodell?
That's it in a nutshell. Yeah, we have dug deep into the statutes. We think that there is a mechanism that can be used. We've talked to the attorneys for the boroughs. As far as I can tell, they're optimistic about that, and it's just a matter now of coordinating.
Yep, thank you. That was my understanding, and we've said all along that we're committed to doing this. Now I think we found a mechanism. We found the boroughs seem to be on board with this. It seems like a month would be a long time to get this done, but things sometimes just, especially with multiple municipalities, sometimes things just take a little while to get put in place, but things are definitely moving forward.
Yes.
Okay, Ms. Borges, on your communication.
No answer needed.
Yeah, well, Mr. Snyder, I think we talked about this over the weekend, and you will bring that up when when the debrief happens with the whole team. Because I heard that firefighters were knocking on doors, so there must have been some disconnect, but
Not my neighborhood.
we'll figure that out. Mr. Pissarro, Mr. Seeberger, would you mind giving us an update on this plan? I think I was unfortunately absent at the last meeting. I believe my colleagues discussed it then. What is the cost to Hopewell Township again of the, anybody know that?
About 100,000.
About $100,000?
100,000 for Hopewell, yes.
Okay, and this is something that we would need to be doing either with the watershed or we would need to be doing it on our own?
Correct. Every municipality has to do it in the state. It definitely makes the most sense to get together with the other communities that are in the watershed.
Okay.
It's going to provide that continuity. It's going to make it a really good plan. And it's the whole watershed management program under the MS4. It's a three-part process, and the first part is the sampling to establish levels of pollutants, and that part has to be done. I think it's by the end of 2026. So that would be the reason we want to get moving on this. And then the following year, the next component, phase 2, is due, and then the following year, it's 3 years later, the final reports will be done. So it's like a 3-year rolling project with 3 phases.
And I was heartened to see that the other 3 towns involved have moved forward. So any questions or comments from the committee or any thoughts before we?
I have one question.
Yes.
Is it just for the Stony Brook watershed, or would it cover the entire township?
That is correct. The proposal right now is just, can I defer?
So thank you very much again, Mike Pissarro. What is farthest along is the Stony Brook watershed plan. We have been meeting with the Asaping towns, and Hopewell Township has been participating in that. And then in October of last year, we started with the lower Millstone, of which Hopewell has a portion of, to do the same process.
So then we would need to be participating in all 3, and would that then cover the entire town?
It would cover, I think all
Yes,
3
that's
covers
probably a
about 65% of the town.
That's probably a question for Mr. Seeberger. And then what else would we need to do? Because
Delaware.
would that
The
cover?
Delaware.
But would that cover our whole?
Then that would cover the whole town, yeah.
Because we have to do it for the whole town,
Yes,
right?
the whole town, the whole town. Every watershed
Okay.
that you have a piece of, you're responsible to have a watershed management plan for.
Okay.
So yes, there's several watersheds, and then you need to do them all.
All right, thank you. All right, so I think we will continue this conversation. I think we'll probably move forward with this, but we'll, our next meeting is March 17th, so we will continue talking about that. All right. Moving on, we have minutes submitted for approval. We have the special budget, regular and executive meeting minutes of February 18th, 2025. Could I have a motion, please?
Second?
Any changes or questions on the minutes? All those in favor?
Aye.
And I will abstain. Minutes are adopted. And now we have the consent agenda. A resolution authorizing a refund for a zoning permit application overpayment. B, a resolution authorizing the cancellation of taxes on exempt properties. C, a resolution directing the Hopewell Township zoning officer to issue a temporary activities permit to the Hopewell Valley YMCA for administration of charitable programs and services for the local community at 1646 Reed Road. D, a resolution accepting the resignation of a laborer in the Public Works Department, Hiram Cartagna. E, a resolution accepting the resignation of the patrol officer in the Police Department, Emily Disler. F, a resolution of Hopewell Township to accept a donation from the Hopewell Township Hopewell Valley Senior Foundation. May I have a motion for the consent agenda, please?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Consent agenda is adopted. And now we'll move to our regular resolutions. A resolution of support from the Township Committee authorizing the Sustainable Jersey Grant Application submission. May I have a motion, please? And a second?
Second?
Mr. Snyder.
Thank you, Mayor. The Green Team, along with Hopewell Township, held metal recycling events in 2024 and 2025. They're very successful events, well-attended, and there are plans of making it an annual event. So the township is applying for a $2,000 grant to support the event and offset some of the cost.
Wonderful, thank you. And I would like special thanks to Ms. Parandare for your spearheading of all things Sustainable Jersey. So are all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. B, a resolution authorizing the local cannabis license renewal of Pure Blossom, Inc., a a sub-lessee of Golden Main, New Jersey LLC for the year 2025. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Ms. Fenton Newman, this is the annual renewal.
Yes, it's the annual renewal. All fees have been paid, their licenses are current, and this is just for us to renew their local license.
Okay, wonderful. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. C, a resolution of the Township of Hopewell authorizing the award of competitive contract number 24-13, payment processing services. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
So moved.
And the second? Mr. Snyder.
So quite a few residents and township employees have asked if we could have an online payment system and a credit card payment system to pay for zoning permit fees, pet licensing, bulk fees, and other kind of fees they pay with the township. So this is an award of a 5-year contract for the online payment services.
That's great. As someone who licenses my dogs, I think that's a wonderful option.
Yes.
Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. D, a resolution amending professional services agreement, Banish and Associates. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Troutman.
So this is an increase to an award for 2024 services that we had some residual invoicing come through. We did have some increase in activity in 2024 with our affordable housing matters. So this increase will help cover those expenses.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. E, a debt service maturation resolution maturing on April 1st, 2025. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Ms. Troutman.
This resolution is to add into our temporary budget the debt service payment that would be due on April 1st, as we will not have an adopted budget by that time.
Okay, thank you. Questions or comments from the committee? All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Resolution passes. F, we have a 2024 budget transfer resolution number 4. May I have a motion, please?
So moved. Second.
Ms. Troutman.
So in the first 3 months of a year, we are permitted to reallocate or transfer between budget categories of the prior year's budget. So this resolution is putting forward to move from some categories over to a different category for the remainder of this year.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the committee? Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski.
Yes.
Committee Member Purandare.
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chait.
Yes.
Mayor Peters Manning.
Yes.
Budget transfer resolution passes.
Next, we have bills and claims number 1, which includes everything except the Comcast bill. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Ms. Troutman, anything unusual in this?
Not
Phyllis?
unusual, but it does include the March school district payment.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments? Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski.
Yes.
Committee Member Purandare.
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Chait.
Yes.
Mayor Peters Manning.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
And now we have bills and claim number 2, which is the Comcast bill. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Committee Member Kaczynski.
Yes.
Committee Member Purandare.
Yes.
Committee Member Ruger.
Abstain.
Deputy Mayor Chait.
Yes.
Mayor Peters Manning.
Yes.
And that resolution also passes.
Thank you. So now we'll have our second public comment section. Same rules as last time. If you'd like to speak, please come to the podium, state your name, where you live. Limit your comments to 3 minutes. If you're on Zoom, please raise your hand and Ms. Fenton Newman will call on you. I'm not seeing anyone in the room. Is there anyone on Zoom?
No, Mayor.
Oh,
Sorry.
that's okay.
Richard Fletcher, 24 Orchard Avenue, Pennington. Anything yet on sewers coming down our way? You knew I was going to ask that. How are the sewers getting to the Endorado property? Anybody know that?
How it works is you ask all your questions.
Oh, I'll ask
and
them
then
all now?
After we
Okay.
close the public comment, I'll answer them.
All right. How are they getting down there and where are they coming from? 26 Orchard Avenue. Both houses on both sides of me were sold. I don't know what I did. But 26 was sold at an auction. And a group of guys came in, painted the outside of the house at 29 degrees, that ought to last long. No cleanup was done. There's empty 5-gallon paint cans that the lids are off, tape from painting all over the property, garbage, everything like that. There was a bathroom, and the reason I know this, I haven't even been in the house. Other neighbors showed me pictures that were on Facebook. The realtor is renting this house out. They put a bathroom in a closet upstairs. So the roof sits like this. You got to duck your head this way to sit on the toilet even. There was no bathroom in that closet in the original pictures when they were trying to sell the house. The other thing is the kitchen was the outside wall of the house. Back in the 60s, they added a porch. Now these guys came in, they took the main beam down in the kitchen, put a 2x4 up, and it's all cracking there. So the house comes down, there's the reasons why. No permits, nothing can be done. I called up here and asked, does that stuff need permits? Told yes, but they can't do anything unless they can see it from the road. When I can see it on Facebook, when I can see it on a listing, that is public knowledge. That should have been looked at. Then they rented this house out on February 12th. 7 cars pulled in there from New Mexico. You know where I'm going on this. It was snowing that day. They put the garbage cans over on my curb line. I own 18 inches roughly over. I said, that's your property over there. They're your cans. The guy goes, no English. You speak Spanish? 10 people were in that house, 7 cars from New Mexico. Not one person spoke English. That was for over a week. 9 of them moved out. 1 stayed till last Tuesday. The garbage was behind the back porch. Animals were into the garbage and stuff like that. The guy put it out last Tuesday in 2 recyclable cans and on the ground. And our Mercer County Improvement Authority took it all, household garbage, as recyclables. I called them the other day. On the other side of me is 22. That house has been gutted now almost a year. My time up?
Yeah, your time is
Okay.
up, but we'll.
I'll come back.
Yeah. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Is there anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom, Mayor.
All right, with that, I will close the public comment section. I can answer your first question. There is no plans for sewers to come to Orchard Avenue. I think we've talked about this. For Enorado, Mr. Goodell, maybe what is the plan for getting sewers to the Enorado property, which was part of our 3rd round of affordable housing?
Yeah, I know there is a plan because I know I had lots of discussions with Frank Petrino about that. I couldn't tell you exactly where the sewers are going,
but it's from ELSA.
They've got easements to get them to where they need to be.
And it's from ELSA, the Ewing Lawrence Sewage Authority.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Mr. Seeberger might have to answer.
Okay, Mr. Seaberg.
I believe the Enorado project is tying into the sanitary sewer, which is part of Wellington and Brandon Farms. It's actually going to go to the Wellington pump station.
Okay.
And then from there, it'll go to ELSA.
Thank you. As for
So just,
Yeah, go ahead.
just the connection, I'll echo what Mr. Seeberger said, is I believe when we reviewed this at the planning board, that the connection from those properties are going to connect into the Brandon Farms portion of the ELSA system, and it will be specifically into the Wellington Manor collection system.
I've been asking this for
So-
30 years.
Thank you.
And we were told that Brandon Farms.
I'm sorry, we
had
can't have yelling from the audience, so I appreciate you had your time to speak, so now we're going to answer the questions. With your question on 26 Orchard and 22 Orchard, either Mr. Seeberger or Mr. Snyder, would you mind following up with the health department just to see if we can make sure that where that goes? As for the people you're not able to communicate, it's not a crime to not be speaking English, so I understand that might have been frustrating, but there's nothing we can do about
They could be the best neighbors out there.
So I think that answers all of those questions. And is there any other questions or comments from the committee before we go into executive? All right, could I have a motion, please, to go into executive?
So moved.
Second.
And our topics tonight are litigation. It's all of them, litigation, real estate, and personnel, and we do not expect to be taking any action after executive tonight. So I had a motion and a second. All those in favor to go into executive? Aye. Any opposed or abstentions? Whereas it is necessary for the Township Committee to discuss real estate, legal, contract negotiations, and/or personnel matters, and whereas NJSA 10:4-12 permits the Township Committee to conduct a meeting from which the public is excluded in order to discuss such matters, and whereas the time, when, and circumstances under which discussion conducted in executive session may be disclosed to the public is when appropriate. Now therefore be it resolved by the Township Committee of the Township of Hopewell, County of Mercer, State of New Jersey, that the Township Committee shall forthwith conduct an executive session to discuss the above. Be it further resolved that the scope of the aforesaid executive session will be limited to the above matters as stated. Thank you.